She was Kennel 37B's Silent Sentinel, a medium-sized shepherd mix whose defining characteristic was her utter lack of characteristics. While the dogs around her barked, whined, paced, or eagerly solicited attention, Maya simply was. Pressed tightly into the back corner, often facing the cold concrete wall, she remained unnervingly still, a statue carved from neglect and fear. Her eyes, when visible, were dull, vacant, seemingly looking through, rather than at the world passing by her chain-link door. She didn't react to loud noises, didn't respond to soft words, showed no interest in treats tossed her way, didn't even flinch when the kennel next door erupted in a frenzy. She was completely, profoundly shut down. It was a state beyond mere fear or shyness. It was a complete emotional and behavioral retreat, a self-preservation mechanism dialed up to maximum, effectively erasing her presence within the chaotic environment of the county's shelter. No one knew Maya's story before she was picked up as a stray, already underweight and bearing the subtle marks of long-term neglect. A dull coat, worn teeth, extreme hand-shyness. But whatever she had endured had effectively switched off her ability, or perhaps her willingness, to engage with the world. The stressful shelter environment only compounded the problem. The constant barrage of barking, the clanging of gates, the unfamiliar smells, the brief, hurried interactions with different staff members. It was all too much. For a dog already traumatized, it was an overwhelming sensory assault that reinforced her need to withdraw, to disappear into herself. Attempts at assessment were fruitless. She wouldn't walk on a leash, freezing completely or collapsing. Handling for basic care was done quickly and minimally, as it clearly caused her immense stress, though she rarely reacted overtly, simply enduring it with that terrifying stillness. To the busy shelter staff, Maya was a puzzle and a problem. She wasn't aggressive, wasn't destructive, wasn't even particularly fearful in the typical lunging or trembling way. She was just ... absent, non-responsive, shut down. This made her incredibly difficult to place. Potential adopters walked past, seeking connection, a spark, any sign of personality. Maya offered nothing. She was fading into the background, becoming invisible, her chances of finding a home dwindling with each passing week. She was perilously close to being deemed unadoptable due to severe behavioral shutdown, a label that often led to the most tragic outcome in overcrowded facilities. Then came Alex. Alex wasn't a regular volunteer focused on walking dogs or cleaning kennels. He was a graduate student in animal behavior, volunteering his time specifically to work with the shelter's most challenging long-term residents, the ones often overlooked. He believed that even the most shut-down dogs had a hidden personality waiting beneath the layers of trauma. Accessible perhaps not through standard training, but through patience, observation, and the slow, steady application of trust-building techniques. Essentially, through a dedicated form of love expressed as unwavering commitment and understanding. Intrigued by Maya's extreme case, Alex decided to make her his focus. His initial approach was almost comically passive. He knew that forcing interaction would be counterproductive, likely deepening Maya's withdrawal. So, for the first week, he simply spent an hour each day sitting quietly outside her kennel, a good distance away, turned partially sideways. He didn't talk to her, didn't look directly at her, didn't offer treats. He just sat there, reading a textbook, occasionally highlighting passages, projecting absolute calm and predictability. Maya remained in her corner, motionless, seemingly unaware or indifferent. But Alex watched for the microsignals. The faintest ear twitched towards him, a slight shift in weight, a momentary flicker in her otherwise vacant eyes. He knew she was aware. She was just too deeply entrenched in her shut-down state to react overtly. After a week of just presence, Alex began the next phase, positive association without pressure. At the end of his quiet sitting session, he would stand up slowly, casually toss a few pieces of incredibly high-value, smelly treats towards the back of her kennel, near where she lay, and then immediately walk away without looking back. For several days, the treats remained untouched, swept away during cleaning. Alex wasn't discouraged. He continued the routine faithfully. Sit quietly, leave treats, depart calmly. Then, one morning, he noticed the treats from the previous day were gone. She had eaten them, likely under the cover of night, but she had eaten them. It was the first fragile thread of connection, associating his departure with finding something good. He continued this for weeks. Sit, read, leave treats, go. Gradually, Maya began to eat the treats sooner after he left, sometimes even while he was still visible further down the kennel row. Alex then made a tiny adjustment. He tossed the treats slightly closer to the middle of the run, requiring her to move a step or two away from her safe corner to retrieve them later. She did. This subtle shift indicated a minuscule increase in her willingness to engage with her environment, prompted by the high-value reward. The next step felt significant. Alex remained seated while tossing the treats. He tossed them towards the back, near her, then immediately averted his gaze, reopening his textbook. Maya froze, watching him warily. The conflict was visible in her tense posture. Minutes passed. Finally, driven by the lure of the irresistible treat, she stretched her neck forward, snatched a piece quickly, and retreated to her corner to eat it, never taking her eyes off him. Alex didn't react, didn't praise, just continued his calm routine. This became the new pattern: toss, wait, snatch, retreat, repeated countless times over many more weeks. Alex noticed subtle changes only someone paying incredibly close attention would perceive. The time it took her to snatch the treat grew slightly shorter. Occasionally, her ear would flick towards him with seeming curiosity before the fear reflex took over again. Once, when a loud bang occurred outside, she flinched but didn't retreat quite as far back into her corner as she might have previously. These were microscopic cracks appearing in the wall of her shutdown state. Recognizing that the constant stress of the main kennel block was hindering progress, Alex advocated for Maya to be moved to a quieter area, perhaps an office space or a less populated isolation run, if possible. The shelter manager, seeing Alex's dedication and the lack of any other options for Maya, reluctantly agreed to try housing her temporarily in a large, quiet, administrative office that was empty after hours. The change of environment, away from the relentless barking and foot traffic, made a noticeable difference, though the initial move was stressful. In the relative quiet of the office, Maya still initially retreated to a corner behind a desk, but she seemed marginally less tense overall. Alex continued his sessions there, sitting quietly on the floor, leaving treats. With fewer overwhelming stimuli, Maya began to show slightly more engagement. She started watching Alex with more focused curiosity. She began retrieving the treats while he was still relatively close, albeit still with caution. One afternoon, Alex brought in a novel object, a simple, unscented cardboard box, and placed it in the middle of the room before settling into his usual quiet reading spot. Maya watched the box intently from her corner. After a long period of observation, she cautiously crept forward, sniffed the box tentatively from multiple angles, and then, surprisingly, nudged it gently with her nose before retreating. It was the first sign of active environmental exploration, the first flicker of curiosity Alex had witnessed. He praised her softly, "Good girl, Maya," keeping his voice low and calm, and tossed a jackpot of treats near her corner. Building on this, Alex started introducing other novel, non-threatening enrichment items. A crumpled piece of paper, a different textured mat to lie on, a very soft, silent plush toy. He never forced interaction with these items, just made them available. Maya began investigating them cautiously, sometimes sniffing, sometimes nudging, revealing a nascent curiosity, long suppressed. The true breakthrough, the moment that felt like finding a key to a locked door, involved a specific type of treat. Alex had been varying the high-value rewards, and noticed Maya seemed slightly more animated, her body infinitesimally less tense. When he offered small pieces of cooked sweet potato, he started using it exclusively. One day, holding a piece in his open, flat palm, held low and still several feet away from her, Maya approached more purposefully than ever before. She sniffed his hand cautiously, then gently, delicately, took the sweet potato from his palm, her lips barely brushing his skin. She didn't snatch and retreat this time. She stood there for a second, chewed the treat, swallowed, and looked back at his hand, then briefly up at his face, before calmly walking back to her spot. Alex felt breathless. It was the most relaxed, most trusting interaction they had ever had. He had found a connection point. From that day forward, using sweet potato as a high-value reward and continuing his incredibly patient approach, Alex started seeing more significant changes. Maya began willingly approaching him for treats. She started tolerating him, moving slightly while she was near, as long as his movements were slow and predictable. He introduced targeting, touching a hand or a target stick, which she learned quickly, seeming to enjoy the predictable interaction and reward. And then, the hidden personality truly began to emerge, unlocked by months of patient love. Maya started revealing quirky traits. She developed a funny little happy dance, a sort of wiggle and head toss. When Alex prepared her sweet potato treats, she showed a surprising affinity for soft blankets, meticulously arranging them into a nest before settling down. She started, occasionally, initiating interaction, perhaps by nudging Alex's hand softly with her nose. If he paused too long during a targeting session, the most profound moment came during a quiet session in the office. Alex was sitting on the floor, and Maya had approached for a treat. After taking it, instead of moving away, she hesitated, then leaned her shoulder gently against Alex's knee for just a moment before moving off to lie down nearby. It was the first time she had voluntarily used physical contact for comfort or connection, not just for food. It was a gesture of trust so profound, given her history, that Alex felt tears welling. The shut-down dog was actively seeking connection. Recognizing that Maya's progress was now significantly tied to him and hindered by the limitations of the office environment, Alex made a life-changing decision. With the rescue's blessing, he adopted Maya himself. He knew her rehabilitation was far from over, that she might always be a sensitive dog requiring careful management, but he couldn't bear the thought of her regressing in the shelter or risking a less understanding placement. He was committed to seeing her journey through. Moving into Alex's quiet apartment, Maya blossomed further, though still cautiously. Away from any lingering shelter stress, her true personality emerged more consistently. she revealed a surprisingly playful side, enjoying gentle games of fetch with soft toys down the hallway, tossing toys for herself, and doing zoomies on the rug when excited. She became Alex's shadow, following him quietly from room to room, content just to be near him. She learned to walk reasonably well on leash in quiet areas, sniffing intently, though remained wary of loud traffic or boisterous strangers. She even learned to cuddle, tentatively at first, then with growing confidence, curling up beside Alex on the sofa in the evenings, emitting soft sighs of deep contentment. Watch love unlock this dog's hidden personality. Indeed, looking at Maya now, her eyes bright and expressive, her tail offering frequent, soft wags, her body relaxed and seeking affection from Alex, it's almost impossible to reconcile her with the vacant, unresponsive dog huddled in the back of Kennel 37B. Her transformation wasn't loud or dramatic in the conventional sense, but a quiet, gradual unfolding, a testament to the hidden personality that lay dormant beneath layers of fear and neglect. It required someone to see beyond the shut-down exterior, someone willing to offer unwavering patience, safety, and the consistent, quiet love needed to rebuild trust from the ground up. Maya's journey is a powerful reminder that personality isn't always immediately apparent, that deep trauma can cause profound withdrawal, but that, with enough time, understanding, and compassionate commitment, even the most emotionally barricaded hearts can reopen, revealing the most emotionally revealing the unique and wonderful individual inden within den, in the bid of spoor with sass to where is so with so kwa so of you is so it is so it of wa you to get of pukabov so to up what of what I do I do to you to do will you but the car that moved to you but dama to is who am the motor some am but with the time to die to the